Hi, so today I'm going to show you guys some songs that I learned that shaped my guitar playing. So the first song was the song About a Girl by Nirvana. And what it did was it taught me, basically it was like the first song I learned how to play, but also it taught me how to use chords with each other and some basic rhythm. So I learned rhythm from this song, right? I also learned power chords and how to use those. So for me, it was very simple because it was just two fingers. So I was able to really get down the song, and I started learning the guitar solo also in that song, but I didn't really learn anything from that. It was just kind of like I know I didn't play it right. I'm just kind of fiddling around. But it was just kind of, I was already doing that on the guitar anyway, so it was just like, oh, cool, I can play the solo now. But I had to sit there and really work on it. All right, the next one I'm going to say would be Dust in the Wind by Kansas, because what it did was it showed me not only some simple finger styling, but it showed me how to use chords where I can create melodies with the chords. So I did learn some basic finger styling from that. But then I also learned how to use chords to make melodies, how to just move the notes around and create melodies with the chords, which was very helpful to me later on, making my own stuff or learning other songs. Now, the next song would be Save Tonight by Eagle Eye Cherry. Now this song for me was a song that I liked, I enjoyed it, and during that time, I guess a lot of people were, I was in the heavy metal scene, so people kind of rolled their eyes at me for listening to it, but whatever, I liked the song. So the thing was that I was really challenged with the song though, because the song had something in it. I knew three of the chords. I knew the A minor, I knew the C, and I knew G, but it had this F chord, and it was a bar chord. And I was trying to cheat at first, just try to play the power chord, like. But after a while, I thought about it. I was like, you know what? I shouldn't cheat. Let me play the whole chord. He's doing it. Why can't I? And I had to sit there, and I spent a lot of time on this. This was like this is when guitar boot camp hit me. Was when I got to that bar chord and trying to play that full bar chord in the song smoothly, and it was not easy for me at first, but it taught me how to use the bar chords and how to incorporate them into songs, even with open chords or just by themselves. Okay, so it was like. So it made a big difference. And then all of a sudden, once I was able to do that, it opened up the door for me to be able to play so much more music and to create my own music on a wider scale. So now all of a sudden I had this new arsenal of weapons that I could use, which was this, right? So now I could play it and get to this chord, but the next song is what really helped me be able to move this chord around, which was You Really Got Me by the Kinks. And that song really changed that chord for me completely, because before learning that song, I could play the F, but to move it around it just seemed impossible. It was really hard. But when I learned that the Kinks had used this chord that way in that song, and I really liked the song ever since I was a little kid, I was like, well, I have to learn the song. And I worked hard on it, and they take that progression and they move it all around the neck. Not like Van Halen. Van Halen just sticks in one spot. He doesn't even play the bar chord. He's like. But I can understand why he did it, because he wanted to throw all those little cool guitar licks in there and keep his hand freed up to do that. So it makes sense. But The Kinks, nope, they were just bar chord the whole way, all the way. If you listen to the song, that riff, it just keeps changing. It keeps changing throughout the song. They always go back, but that's really the heart of the song is that thing. Okay, so now the next song I would say is Master of Puppets by Metallica. Now this song really transformed my guitar playing around a lot because one, I knew that they played a lot of these songs all downstrokes. And this song just seemed like it's not even real to do that. You have... It was like, wow, that is so fast. There's no way I could do that. I was like, I'm setting out to do it. And I made it a goal to do the whole song all downstroke. And it took a while. It took a long time. But once I broke through that, I was able to play the whole song with downstrokes, all downstrokes, the whole thing. And that was another thing, was that it wasn't just the downstrokes that I learned about from that song, but also so I built the pick speed, right, up from that song. But another thing I got out of that was I really learned where the chords were around the guitar from that song, believe it or not. Because they move these chords around a lot, and they use them open chords, right, in that song as well. And then they play it up here, like all the harmonies. So I learned every bit of that song. I learned how to do both guitar solos in that song. And that was another thing I learned, was really the beginning of lead guitar, especially from the first one, the Hetfield solo in the beginning. Which I don't fully remember it anymore, but that was the first solo guitar, like real guitar solo I learned, was that one. And then the Kirk Hammett solo I learned a little bit later, but those two things combined really helped me understand the fretboard a lot better. The intro to the song, just most of that song just taught me so much stuff about the guitar, about how, like, okay, we're playing in E minor, right? And they'll play outside the key a bit here and there. They'll use some other chords that aren't really part of that. And I learned about how to do that stuff, how to break outside of your key, outside of your scale. How do you do that, right? But maintain the key sound, right? The sound of like that E minor sound that we're in. And I learned that from that song as well. So that song was huge for me in learning and understanding how the fretboard works. Okay, so now the next song would be For Elise, okay? The Beethoven song, right? So, I learned fingerpicking from it. Now, I know I brought up Dust in the Wind earlier, and I learned some basic stuff about that. But this song taught me more in-depthly how different, like the bar chords, I could not have done this in the beginning, and how the chords and the scales are all structured within the guitar. So now this is a very interesting song because it seems like it goes back and forth from E major to E minor. I would kind of more consider it to be like A minor, I guess. It's an A minor, but there's all these accidentals in there, right? So I learned about that stuff, and I learned how to really incorporate chords that I would have never thought to put together from that. And the finger picking, to be more precise with it, to be more in control of what I can do with open notes and also with fretted notes at the same time, how I can play around with these all these different things going on with the guitar and just make the instrument more versatile for myself to use, right? So now by doing this, I have more versatility with the instrument. All right, so the last one. was an Yngwie song, believe it or not. Okay, and everyone would roll their eyes. And why can't I remember the name of it for some reason? So this song, it did teach me, it taught me a few things. One, I learned about arpeggios from this song. Another thing that I learned was, I really learned how to play in a different key. I learned a bit about the tritone stuff, believe it or not, from this. Although at the time I was kind of confused, like, what is that? But he was doing these arpeggios, and some of them were tritone, which was really cool. But also, because he's got all right. So that was really cool. That was a really cool thing about it, about from that song. And the other thing was that I had to really speed myself up in order to actually play along with the song. So that was the thing that made it difficult, was how fast he played. It was all shredding. The whole song was like shredding from beginning to end. And I really wanted to do that. I wanted to know what he was doing, the skills that he was using, and I wanted to be able to do them myself. And I learned it was the harmonic minor scale is what he used for that song, F sharp harmonic minor. So I learned that, but then of course there's accidentals that are thrown in there, but they're specifically made to enhance that scale, right? So, which was really interesting. But then I learned about the arpeggios. I learned about how to actually really like feel my way around the guitar. And instead of just kind of doing things mechanically, even though you would think like Yngwie, oh yeah, very mechanical stuff, and you could take it that way, but you really have to feel your way around the guitar. Once you start playing like that, you just have to feel yourself around the instrument. Like you have to feel around the instrument and get very comfortable with it. So to do that, you really have to work on like whatever the lick is here. Right, and really get it down, like the muscle memory down, to a point, and then break the muscle memory. You want to build up the finger speed, and then take away the muscle memory, so that way your fingers aren't locked into doing something a certain way, but that you can do it a different way or do something different instead of being stuck doing that one thing. That's what was happening with a lot of the solos I was learning before that song, was that they all have very similar characteristics. There was the same kind of licks, the same kind of bends and stuff like that, and he just went somewhere else with it. He goes, well, this time we're going to do this. Right? Which I'm playing it very slowed down because I'm not used to doing it on acoustic. But it kind of broke the mold. Like, you learn how to play stuff and you work on these things and play it and get in tune with the instrument. But you're not really getting in tune when you learn like that. If you're learning just kind of like this thing and you just do it, you're developing muscle memory, which you need. You need to develop the speed, the accuracy. But then what happens is you get stuck playing like that. And what this song did was it broke that stuck playing. So it kind of made me have to move around. And I noticed that he would take this scale and he would play it in like 6 different positions in the matter of like 20 seconds, and he would do other different things with the same notes. I'm like, wow, I would have never thought of that. So I learned a lot from that song, which can't think of the name. I'm gonna get it, but and I'll tell you the name as soon as I can remember it. But those songs were the ones that really shaped my guitar playing. Okay, like big time, made a big difference. Okay, and you don't have to learn those songs. It's not up, you learn whatever you want, but just take the idea, the lessons that I learned from each of those, and you'll find some song out there that would provide the same thing. Far Beyond the Sun, Yngwie Malmsteen. That's the name of the song, Far Beyond the Sun. Okay, There we go. So, Far Beyond the Sun by Yngwie Malmsteen. Something like that. It's been a while since I played that song too, so if I got some notes wrong, whatever, let me know. All right, so those songs, and of course there are tons and tons of other songs that I've learned that have taught me things, but those songs in particular kind of stand out in my knowledge from my learning guitar, right? And of course, you never stop learning, right? So I still consider myself a student. I am a teacher, but I also am always open to learning new things about guitar, about music theory. So the door is always open for me to keep learning. Okay, and you should keep that same mindset too. If you've been playing for 10 years or 20 minutes or 30 years, I don't think it matters, right? There's always something to learn, right? And you never know what song you're gonna learn from next. There was a song one of my students showed me recently. It was actually an Adele song, and I was using that song to teach her song structure. And when we did it, I never had listened to the song before. She suggested that song. I said, okay, we'll look at it and I'll show you the song structure. And the song structure actually taught me something about song structure. She had her intro, which was the verse, right? And then she had a chorus back into a verse, but it was a different type of verse. And then you had the ending, there was like a bridge part that was very quick. And then you had your ending, which was the intro. It was like almost the same thing. I was like, oh, that was really interesting. I learned something from that. I learned about how to manipulate small little things in the song just to change the part of the song. And for me, that was really cool. And that was something I learned just recently. Just something I hadn't really done in my own music compositions, where I just changed something a little bit and it becomes a new part. But that's what she did in one of the songs, and she made that into a bridge. And then the outro to the song was almost the same thing as the intro. Very similar. I think they just added a little something to the music to change it, to let you know it's over now. So, there's always something new to learn. And take that as like a way to, look for what song is going to teach you something. Songs are going to teach you something. They're not, they are great to just play and have fun with, but you can also learn something from every song that you play. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I hope this was enlightening for you.